In the early hours of March the 31st, 2001, a party at the home of one of Britain's biggest television stars ended in tragedy. At around 6 o'clock in the morning, a man named Stuart Lubbock was discovered unconscious in a swimming pool. The house belonged to the entertainer Michael Barrymore. But what followed would become one of the most controversial and puzzling unsolved deaths in modern-day British media history, where evidence went missing and forensic tests were never carried out, and more than 2 decades later, no one has ever been convicted. So what really happened that fateful night? Join me in this video as we peel back the layers of the truth and the evidence of what really happened with Michael Barrymore and Stuart Lubbock that fateful night. A big warm welcome to you all, and thank you for joining me back at the channel which just gone viral. A big shout out and a thank you to all the new subscribers, and in this video we take a look at Michael Barrymore and also the recent developments with the backlash regarding Stuart Lubbock.
On Strike It Lucky! And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Michael Barrymore!
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. What?
Sorry, it's a bit weird. Just like I've got my back to this, like, you know. Oh, they're French. Hello. Quand je commande la voici, comment de j'étais. Alors, le Piers Morgan, sur le Barrymore, dodgy geezer. Oh, là. I'm
starting to feel like I've already lost myself.
No, I should get back to work. Oh, that's on Jesus. I'm on interview. So, any dodgy birds through your life? Hey? Just had a bit of gear, have you, now and again?
The night began like so many others for Michael Barrymore. Michael Barrymore and a group of friends were out drinking at a nightclub in Harlow in Essex, and Michael Barrymore was at the height of his fame and a familiar face and recognised wherever he went. For years he had been one of Britain's most popular television hosts, known for hit shows like Strike It Lucky and My Kind of People. After the nightclub closed in the early hours, Michael Barrymore invited several people back to his house in the nearby village of Roydon. This wasn't unusual. Friends often returned to the property for late night gatherings and drinks, but this night would turn out very different.
Fella's drowned in the pool. There's a party going on and someone's just found. I think the geezer's dead, mate.
By the time the group arrived at the house of Michael Barrymore, there were roughly 8 or 9 people Michael Barrymore said were present, and alcohol was flowing. Yet by Michael Barrymore's own statement, he says that he was clear-headed and not off his face. So therefore, how can he be very clear as to whether there were 8 people or 9, as surely you would know? There was also the reports of the CCTV that captured the people getting into a taxi and going to Michael Barrymore's house. Yet still to date, we've never seen this CCTV. From the witnesses and the people there present who gave their account, there was cocaine and ecstasy floating around the party. Stuart Lubbock was found with ecstasy in his system, yet at no point did Michael Barrymore own up to taking ecstasy and left this part out. There is also the other theory that maybe Stuart Lubbock's drink was previously spiked before maybe getting to Michael Barrymore's home or while he was there. From Stuart Lubbock's father's own account, he says that Stuart went to the Millennium Club with his brother Kevin that evening. Kevin thought that Stuart had wandered off and pulled a woman and gone back with her, when in fact he'd met Michael Barrymore and friends and gone back to Barrymore's. At no point was it stated that he left with a friend called Justin Merritt. This only appeared in the story appears at a later date. So let's turn our attention to 2026 and see what Michael Barrymore is saying still these days, so many years on.
The truth is, I've always done everything anyone has asked of me, and I've cooperated with everyone. Essex Police's own QC has said that We know that Mr. Barrymore has had nothing to do with this and that there is no evidence linking him with the injuries to Mr. Lubbock or the pool. I have had nothing to do with this whatsoever, and yet I keep getting bashed and bullied by the media. And my heartfelt sympathies are with the Lubbock family, and I truly hope they find peace. And it is for that reason that I have constantly pressed for an independent police force to examine everything to do with the case and reach a proper conclusion. And I should continue to do so.
The evening that a man would drown in his swimming pool began like any other Friday night for Michael Barrymore. He went out for a meal, returned to his Essex home, and then headed for a nightclub in Harlow.
I just wanted to cheer myself up. So Jonathan was a mate of mine who was with me at the time. I said, "Should we go down there? Go to a club?" I said, "All right." So it was just on the spur of the moment. I didn't have any intention to go out to the club that night.
So you decide to go to the Millennium Club, and you go with your friend John Kenny.
Fella's drowned in the pool. There's a party going on and someone's just fainted. I think the geezer's dead, mate.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Barrymore!
31-year-old Stuart Lubbock was found floating in the swimming pool at Mr. Barrymore's home in Essex.
This was the biggest story of the decade.
I couldn't make sense of it. My son linked with Barrymore.
The assumption that he had drowned in the swimming pool was based on rather flimsy evidence.
How did he get injuries so severe that could have killed him?
This young man had suffered a very violent and very serious assault.
Why would he run away? It's his house, his party, his pool.
Who killed Stuart Lubbock?
There has been one key consistent factor, though, in the case of Stuart Lubbock regarding Michael Barrymore, and that is that the objects that were removed from the scene. It is alleged that it was currently Michael Barrymore's PR at the time that did this, because police never received this, picked it up, or even took it away for testing. It is believed it was not at the scene to be tested. That is why there was failures with regards to testing stuff that was at the scene of the crime. To the right hand side of the image is the pool thermometer that went missing at the scene. It is believed also that a door handle was missing from the interior of Michael Barrymore's home and was also used in the assault of Stuart Lubbock. Stuart Lubbock received serious internal anal injuries, and it is believed these two objects took part in causing them injuries. In front of you are shown examples of 90s interior door handles. The door handle was never found, but it is believed that it could have been one of the examples shown in front of you.
I got to the club, I walked in the door, and the management and that looked after me straight away, and they put a security guard with me and a couple, keep an eye on me. The club was busy. I was high and it was a good buzz, and I had loads of girls coming up to me, and I was talking to loads of the blokes coming up and talking to me, and I just talked to, it seemed like hundreds, and it was getting, quite heavy, because there was a lot of, not heavy as in bad, but heavy in as it was getting a lot to deal with. I just wanted to cheer myself up. So Jonathan was a mate of mine who was with me at the time.
Now it is worth noting here that when Michael Barrymore answers the question as to who he was with that night put to him by Martin Bashir, he touches his face and nose with his hand while answering the question at the same time. He answers that he was with a friend called John. The reason that I say to note this is because people who understand body language and micro-expressions will understand that when people talk and touch their face or nose, it usually means that they're trying to cover their mouth because they're lying. It later transcribed that John was actually in fact Jonathan Kenny, who it turned out later on that was Michael Barrymore's boyfriend at the time. So why did Michael Barrymore not state this, bearing in mind he'd already come out about being gay several years before?
I said, "Should we go down there? Go to a club?" I I said, all right. So it was just on the spur of the moment. I didn't have any intention to go out to the club that night.
So you decide to go to the Millennium Club, and you go with your friend John Kenny. What happened when you got to the club?
When I got to the club, I walked in the door, and the management and that looked after me straight away, and they put a security guard with me and a couple, keep an eye on me. The club was busy. I was high, and it was a good buzz, and I had loads of girls coming up to me, and I was talking to loads of the blokes coming up and talking to me, and I just talked to, it seemed like hundreds, and it was getting, quite heavy, because there was a lot of, not heavy as in bad, but heavy in as it was getting a lot to deal with.
Bit of an event.
Yeah, and I thought, maybe it's a bit too much, and all the drink and that, and I talked to loads of people.
Barrymore left the club with 31-year-old Stuart Lubbock, a local butcher and father of 2 young children. Also with him was Justin Merritt, a dustman, and his friend John Kenny. In total, 9 people went to Barrymore's home. Had you taken any drugs that evening or during the day?
No, not during the day or that evening, no.
So you'd only been drinking?
Yeah, I've been drinking. I drank Jack Daniels and lemonade at the club, and then we went back to the house.
What you also have to ask yourself is, why is Michael Barrymore admitting to taking cocaine, but at no point does he mention taking ecstasy?
The taxi driver who took you home says, and I quote, "You were definitely the worse for wear." Would that be a fair description?
I was the worse for wear as me, or worse for wear out of everybody else?
No, you were just worse for wear yourself.
It's the first time I'm hearing these.
Yeah, just the worse for wear yourself. You were quite drunk, I think is what he meant, as he took you home.
That's probably acceptable. I mean, I was leaning over the back of his seat talking to him, just jollying on. It was just another night, another club. People come back.
Just the sort of thing you did.
Have a drink. It's the sort of thing I did,
What happened when you got home?
I got home, I went in, I went down, showed them around the place. Not showed them around the place, but there's some music in there in the front room and that, and help yourself to drinks.
Did you serve them drinks?
No, I didn't serve them drinks. They helped themselves.
You just showed them where the drinks?
Yeah, I showed them where the drink. There's a cabinet in the front room, and there's the fridge and the cooler, and there was plenty of drink around. Just to help themselves, and also if they wanted to use the jacuzzi, they could.
Were any of the people who you saw in your house, admittedly you say you didn't know them, but did they appear to be drunk?
Stuart had had a drink. They'd all had a drink, but nothing I would judge as so drunk that they had to be taken care of.
Sometimes when people answer questions and tell you more information than what you asked for, this is usually to cover their tracks. So when someone says to you that I didn't do this or I didn't do that, when that's not what the question you asked, it seems that they tend to give more away than what they intended. So rather than just answer the question as a straightforward yes or no, they tell you more information, because nobody said, was he in a state that he needed looking after? Does that mean, like a self-admission or guilt, that in fact there was people there that did need looking after? Otherwise, why would you say it? Almost kind of over-explaining yourself.
Did anybody take any drugs?
I took some drugs with a couple of them.
What sort of drugs?
Smoke.
Did you offer cocaine to anybody?
No.
You didn't?
No, not at all.
I'm sure you'll be aware that there are now effectively 2 descriptions of what happened on that night, and both of them appear to tally.
Well, what descriptions are they?
Well, Justin Merritt, for example, has said that you offered cocaine to all of the people in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And he says that you dabbed your finger in cocaine and forcibly rubbed it on Stuart Lubbock's gum in
That
the
never
kitchen.
took place. The only time I had anything was with a couple of guys down the other end of the house. And at that time, they all went out to the pool.
So is Justin Merritt lying when he says that that was what you did and he saw you do it?
Is he lying?
Yes.
Yes, he is.
He's lying.
Yes.
Even though on a previous occasion, John Kenny recollects you doing exactly that thing, getting cocaine, dabbing it on your finger and rubbing it in your gums.
The two don't tie in.
Well, they tie in as something that you might do.
Something I might do, not to another person.
It's something that John Kenny saw you do to yourself.
Yeah, you're saying that I did that on an occasion?
Yeah, and what I'm saying to you is...
It's not something I recall ever doing.
No, sure, but to be clear...
Yeah, I'm clear about what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah, very clear.
You are saying that Justin Merritt is lying.
He is lying.
Justin Merritt stands by the story he told police. Given the fact that you have been honest enough to admit that you've used cocaine previously, and that there are other friends of yours who recollect you buying cocaine and using cocaine, is it not possible that you had cocaine in the house that evening?
It's possible, but a trace of cocaine was found in the house.
Is it not possible that you gave cocaine to the guests?
No, it isn't possible.
Why are you so categoric on that?
Because for that evening, I know the sequence of events. I wasn't so off it that I didn't know what was going on. I wasn't so out of my head that I didn't know what was going on. Came into the house, showed them where everything was, went down the other end, had a smoke with the lads, came back, went to go up the jacuzzi, and that's when I discovered Stuart. The last time I saw Stuart was walking towards the jacuzzi.
Another thing to note in this interview is Michael Barrymore stated that he said to the lads at the end of the house that they could use a pair of his shorts out the drawer to go in the hot tub and the pool. But what he failed to mention was Stuart Lubbock was found in his boxer shorts with stains of blood on them that were never tested. So if Michael Barrymore saw him going to the pool, why was he wearing boxer shorts? As this wouldn't make sense. He would have been wearing shorts that Michael Barrymore had offered them all to wear. Also, by Michael Barrymore's own account, he said that he fled the home before the police turned up. But what he failed to mention is that he'd fled to the end of the road and a neighbour's house, which also turned out to be his boyfriend's, Jonathan Kenny.
20 years on, the investigation into Stuart Lubbock's death has been relaunched, and a Channel 4 documentary has brought the events of that night back into the spotlight.
And Michael Barrymore and his solicitor, James Heath, join us now. Very good morning to you both.
Morning. Good morning.
Did you watch the documentary?
Yeah, well, as much as I could watch of it. It was. It started off as a normal documentary, and then it just started to get vile and vicious. And
it was a very one-sided piece. It was just it had a blinkered view, and it's trying to paint various conspiracy theories. And I think the important thing to understand about it and the way it came about is 2 years before the documentary started, they actually approached Michael, and they said to him, "Look, we want this to be a celebration of your life. Can you come and meet us?" And so Michael was being the very accommodating chap he is, he went to meet them. And they said to him, "Look, we want to pay you a large fee to make a documentary that's a celebration of your life and your victimization by the press." And from there, Michael went away and sort of got in touch with them and said, look, I'm very sorry. I know you've commissioned this, you've started working on it, but it's not something I want to get involved in.
And then they made a different type of
what happened after that? After I said no, it's not for me, because I said they wanted to make about the culture of the 90s and the press. I said, well, that's another documentary. I think if you're going to do my story justice, including the bad bits. You know, you need to do it properly.
But let's cut to the quick, Michael, on this, because you know and I know that all it does, that kind of documentary, it just actually keeps the thing back in the headlines.
Yes.
Because ultimately we don't know the answers.
No.
And I've had a lot of sympathy for you over the years about the fact that you've been unable to move on. But I also have a lot of sympathy for the Lubbock family, and in particular Stuart's father, who is obviously completely grief-stricken, still feels that justice has not been done to his son.
Yeah.
Put yourself into his shoes, that father, for a moment. Do you understand why, for him, it remains such a running sore, the injustice?
Yeah, I totally understand, and I've supported it all along. And it's been written also that we haven't met. I've met him 3 times.
And we've always made himself available.
Well, it was clear in the documentary that you'd spent time
Was
with
it?
him.
Yeah, well, I probably missed that bit.
And when you meet him, I presume what he wants to know, you've made it very clear that you had nothing to do with the death of Stuart Lubbock.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the question remains, do you have anything to offer the police which could lead to resolving this?
I honestly wish I did. I mean, I would put myself through 20 years of hell.
You let Michael
I don't know anything. I haven't got another story. I've only got the one story that was the same when I was interviewed at the beginning in 2006 after I come out of Big Brother. We had all this again, and then I've got no...
But do you believe somebody at that party? Well, how many were there? Eight people.
9 people.
I don't what people say to me, Michael, they watch live stories, and I know you got great feedback to that. I know you've had the opposite, obviously, result of feedback from this documentary. But what people say to me is, look, there were a bunch of people here, some of which you knew, some you didn't, who came back to your house, and they're all adults. There's been, obviously, some kind of partying going on. It defies credibility, people say to me, that nobody had any idea how this guy ends up dead in your pool. Do you share that sense of incredulity? Do you believe somebody knows something?
No, I don't believe somebody. Well, I can't speak for them, but from what I know, I don't believe anybody can't see how it could have happened. Because, we're not to get into detail here today. I was asked not to because of the lawyers.
Actually, what I would add to this is, I mean, you've spent the best part of 3 hours in a room with this man. Where he answered everything on your excellent life story.
You didn't leave a stone unturned.
Left no stone unturned.
I answered everything.
And when I got involved, which was about 2 weeks before the documentary, Michael sent me a huge stack of papers. I've got them sitting in my office.
Another thing that Michael Barrymore fails to mention is he said he found Stuart Lubbock face up in the swimming pool. Yet most people who drown are found face down, and usually at the bottom of the pool after inhaling too much water and sinking. And why, when after Stuart Lubbock's own father launched a private prosecution against Michael Barrymore, the judge blocked it? From the pictures shown in front of you, it appears that the injuries caused to Stuart Lubbock were way more than what we were told.
I'd like to offer a quote from Mr. Barrymore after today's announcement. Mr. Bennett's motivation to seek the truth as to how Mr. Stuart Lubbock received the injuries to his body is absolutely right. I remain totally committed, as I always have been, to continue to pursuing the truth to come out about Stuart Lubbock's death on that tragic evening, and would very much welcome working alongside Mr. Terry Lubbock to uncover the truth.
Terry Lubbock has vowed to continue campaigning. He says he owes that to his son.
Stuart Lubbock joined John Kenny and Justin Merritt in the outside jacuzzi. Kenny and Merritt went back to the house. Shortly afterwards, another guest, James Footers, saw Stuart swimming alone in the pool next to the jacuzzi.
So what happened next that raised the alarm? Can you just take me through the sequence of events?
We had the smoke down there. Were there for a while, not that long. We agreed we'd go to the jacuzzi, give it a go. Went down to the corner end of the house. I gave them some shorts, they changed, I changed into a pair of shorts. Walked out, to the pool towards the jacuzzi. Everybody was back in the house by then. And then I looked down, which is effectively the deep end, and Stuart was there.
Did you realise who it was?
Not immediately. Yeah, well, I did. Yeah, he was face up. Yeah.
What did you do?
I just freaked out. I ran back in and got Jonathan, who I know is a lifesaver, and Simon and James jumped in and pulled his body out.
Did you call the police?
No.
Why not?
Because somebody was doing it.
Justin Merritt says he called 999.
Yeah, I called. Well, Justin and Jonathan came out to the body.
What did you do next?
I was standing on the other side, and I just lost it. I just panicked. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't believe what was going on.
So, what did you think as you looked?
That he'd been under the water a while. From the way he was.
But that made you panic?
Not panic. When I say panic, I just freaking out at seeing him under there, and it just seemed that their efforts to do anything, it wasn't coming round.
So what did you do?
I didn't do anything at that point. Simon and James said, "Come down to get away. There's nothing you can do." And leave the place because it's going to be swarming with police and press. And I just went along with that.
So you're saying that it was suggested to you that you should get out of the house?
Yes.
Do you think that was the most responsible behaviour?
No.
I mean, he is a total stranger who's clearly injured in some way in the pool, and you leave the house.
Yeah.
It's almost tantamount to a criminal offence, isn't it? You're like leaving the scene of an accident. Can you see?
It's only tantamount to that if you're leaving the scene of the accident if you caused it. I didn't think about what I was doing. I didn't think what was right or wrong. They ushered me away. They said, "There's nothing you can do." I said, "I want to, do something," but they said, "It'd be a nightmare." And I just come out, and I didn't leave without straight away ringing my PA Mike and telling him where I was. I wasn't running away from the scene. If I was running away from the scene, the police wouldn't have been able to find me straight away.
Just going back over the scene, your friends suggest that you can't be of any help. There's been this terrible incident. You don't really know what's happened, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know the individual concerned, but something's happened, and you're anxious about it. Your friends say to you, some people might accuse you of running away from your responsibilities. It's your house.
Yeah.
And you've invited people to your party. Do you accept that that's what it was, that you were entirely irresponsible?
I was irresponsible at the time.
Just to leave the house?
I didn't think. I'm guilty of not thinking.
Again?
Somebody else suggesting I would state what had happened.
Even though it was suggested to you by other people, you leave your house. That is not responsible behaviour.
No, it's not at all.
I will make this closing statement of what I think actually happened that evening. I say this with my own personal opinion because to date nobody has ever been charged for the life of Stuart Lubbock. So in my own thoughts and my own conclusion, this is what I think. First of all, I'll tell you why, because of the main factors within the story, and then I'll tell you what I actually think happened. First of all, you have to take into account that Stuart Lubbock was found with alcohol, ecstasy and cocaine in his body. He also had several injuries and internal injuries consistent with SA assault by a large object. and also the exact cause of death could never be determined. I believe that the explanation for the 8 to 9 people being there is some sort of way of easing someone's conscience. By saying there was 8 to 9 means that there could possibly have been 9 people, but at the same time you're confirming the media reports of there being 8. So who was the 9th person? Also, the information that Michael Barrymore missed out was that Jonathan Kennedy was actually living at Michael Barrymore's house at the time, although the allegations were he also lived at the end of the drive. The drive being the end of the estate where Michael Barrymore lived, as the road he lived on ended in drive. From the evidence shown before me, my own conclusion and also my own opinion, I can only draw the conclusion of what happened to Stuart Lubbock that night, which was he went to the club with his brother Kevin. He met Michael Barrymore, who was already with some friends. He separated from his brother and went back to Michael Barrymore's place. I believe strongly that Jonathan Kennedy, the boyfriend of Michael Barrymore at the time, became very jealous because Michael Barrymore took a liking and a fancy to Stuart Lubbock. Now, whether Stuart Lubbock was sedated through either medication or some sort of other methods, I believe also that he might have been knocked unconscious and then taken advantage of through SA. I don't believe that he was actually in the pool when he lost his life, but merely was put there as a cover-up. But one conclusion I think that we can all agree on is that Stuart Lubbock did not lose his life accidentally. Either way, one thing we all know is that Stuart Lubbock did not lose his life in vain. Oh, no.
I'm at the Moco Museum in London. Let's go and see some art, everyone. Hello. This is all Keith hanging out. Hey. Hey guys. Enjoying it? I could do that.
Nowadays, Michael Barrymore can be found floating around on TikTok, but even still, some of his TikToks have come under scrutiny that appear to be very strange or sometimes very creepy. Don't forget to smash like, smash subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget you can hype the video for free by swiping left on the comments section underneath this video and hitting the hype button for free. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you in the next video.
You invited people to your house. It was your party. And when something terrible is happening in front of your eyes, even though it was suggested to you by other people, you leave your house. That is not responsible behaviour.
No, it's not at all.